we might miss the first corner action due to me staying on the track a little bit longer. So apologies for that, but let's just hope that there won't be, let's hope everybody gets going. Obviously we want everybody to have a good race. The guys will put a lot of hours into this, so let's hope we just, well, we can watch this from our view I suppose, but let's just hope most of the guys get off the line. Manny C's stuck, and it looks like, yeah, so unfortunately there are a few guys that are stuck, but there's nothing that I can do about that. So let's go into spectator mode. Looks like we had a bit of a mess up here at the front, sorry, at the back should I say. So it looks like the same three guys. So unfortunately their internet is obviously crashing with somebody else's internet, so unfortunately that's that for them. But here we are. So at the front end we have Johnny Araujo leading things out, followed by Adrian, second position. Running a bit wide there. 69 racing team Sav speed. We have Adrian in second and Rick in third. And these guys doing a great job with their liveries. A big thank you to Conrad, who has done a lot of the liveries as we see this combined racing, which is unfortunately taking out Johnny there, hitting him off the circuit, braking a bit too late. So obviously not ideal, not what we want to be seeing, but like this has become key. So Adrian leading things out. Philip Mayer now in third position, so good job from him. As Johnny unfortunately gets pushed down to fifth place. Matthew, it seems like there's been some action here between TH Boya and sorry, should I rather say Ron and Zahir, so some problems there. Manny C still stuck on the grid. Oh, this is not going to be good. Hopefully they move out of the way. Yeah? So Manny has not left the session and Carson to I have to kick Manny out of the session. Unfortunately, I did not see that he didn't leave, so apologies to whoever was affected there. Seems like everybody went straight here at turn one. Not sure what happened here, but some big changes up at the front. So Rick leading things out at the moment. Unfortunately, a very upside down race that we have going on here, but like I said, it's out of my control and nothing I can do. Unfortunately, some people's internet lines or you know, whatever the term is, clash, and this is unfortunately the result. So it is an issue. It has happened for many years since the game started. So unfortunately, there isn't much we can do. Matthew Waitley actually in third position, so great job from him, followed by Renier and Farad, who's actually up to fifth position. It seems like the gap is quite a bit, so between fifth and sixth position, but it's an unfortunate events here that have happened. And Johnny, who was actually in the lead of the race, dropped down to 8th, so unfortunately we missed what happened, but we had to exit to just kick Manny out of the session. It seemed like a driver going slow here. I think that is Farad. So we have Farad and Adrian going to battle. Drivers on board with Farad at the moment and Adrian. So I'm not sure if he's going to go for a move here. Dives down the inside, makes the corner, some contact there. I'm not sure where Adrian was turning in there, but Farad keeps the position. Good job from him. I think that is Johnny Araujo back up to 6th. Looks like the recovery drive has started as we go on board with him for a little bit. front there. Ferrari running a little bit wide. Look back here to see Adrian on the chase. And it looks like Johnny is catching Ferrari at quite a pace. So still 15 laps left of this race, so there is still a long time ahead. There's many things that can happen, obviously, we know. And I've seen it doesn't really take long for an incident to occur. Entering the last sector of the racetrack, looks like Adrian is staying at bay here. So we could see a potential battle here later as Ferrari runs quite wide there, almost touching the grass. Lucky he did not clip the grass, otherwise he would have most definitely done a 360. So Johnny gets a bit on the grass, as I was saying, not the best thing to be doing. So it does seem like these two are showing some decent pace and catching the guys up ahead. That would be Matthew Wadley and Mia. So basically this could be the eventual podium battle. 146.1 here from Johnny, which is not the pace we used to see in running. Actually did a 44.5, I think, 44.4 qualifying. As Adrian spins out there, not too sure what he did. Most probably touched the grass on the inside of the circuit, and unfortunately it just pulled him around. So unfortunate for him. As you see Johnny going past Ferrari, as Ferrari ends up on the grass. So unfortunate for him, but back on board with Johnny, who also goes a little bit on the grass, but he's now chasing down Matthew Wadley. Obviously these two are real world racing drivers, and Johnny was actually the ex-chairman of the BMW Racing Series. So if we go back up front, we'll pick up on that battle. Just now we see Rick Leroux leading out for combined racing, number 126. So he now has a 4.5 second lead to Philip Mayer. So good job from him. Tried his best to stay out of all the trouble and issues in the beginning, and managed to avoid many stopped on the front straight. So at least it seems like the battle that we were focusing on here is about to hot up. So we'll go back on board with Johnny as he chases down Matthew from the onboard camera, give us a better perspective as to what's happening. So on the grass goes Matthew, and down the inside goes Johnny. So it looks like Johnny is up to 4th position, and he now has quite a big gap to close down to Renier, who is also another racing driver. So there's the gap to put it into perspective. That is what 6.0, and Renier goes straight off, leaving his brake marker presumably way too late. And as we'll see now, Johnny coming through, hopefully goes the right way and going past Renier. So see what happens between these two here. This is Matthew and Renier. Great friends, these two gentlemen. So looks like we have another battle over here. Adrian dives down the inside, very aggressive move. Not really ideal to just bump somebody out the way, but I suppose we might actually look into putting damage on for the next race. So we can maybe try and stop this kind of, if you go for a move that is not really I don't want to really offend anyone, and I'm not really speaking about anybody in particular, but if you go for a move that is not really logical or reasonable, should I say, then you will get damage as well as the guy that you hit, and both your races will be over. So I suppose one of the issues is we might end up only having like 3 people finishing the race, but yeah, we'll have to look into that and see. As once again the battle closes up here, whereas Matthew Wadley runs really wide. So allows Adrian to make up some valuable time. Gap 1.7, now 1.9. And decreasing as we speak. So unfortunately we lost Darren Winterberg, who was the pole sitter for this race. The same thing happened to Paulo Moreira last night. He was on pole for pool 2, and he unfortunately was the only driver who auto-drove, so that's why we did not restart the race. He had to note, obviously there was 3 drivers, and I think for the one there might have even been 4. So we obviously were forced to restart that because Gauteng was there. Unfortunately, we still ended up losing them from this race anyway, despite our efforts to try and see. Matthew going defensive, Adrian on the outside. Let's see if we can get an onboard shot there from what's happening. Let's see, on board now. Bit of a bump there. As we can see, Farad now closing up, flashing his lights. Let's see if Farad goes for a move. Adrian going a bit defensive. Matthew taking a very defensive line into the left button. Farad getting out of shape as you saw there in the mirror. Glance in the rearview mirror, Farad flashing his lights again. So this battle seems to be hotting up a bit. Some credit carding going on here, as we like to call it in racing terms. It looks like a bump from behind there from Farad into Adrian, which almost forced him into Matthew Waderley, but let's see. So Matthew making this M6 very wide at the moment, so good job from him. And Adrian goes for a very big lunge, and it still seems to be bumping. It doesn't manage to get the move, as we see presumably a M6 coming up on this side. There's Farad, so obviously got the drive on Adrian after Adrian sacrificed all his drive, and he might go for a dive bomb. I wouldn't recommend that. Oh, and Farad bumping Matthew Wadley right off the track. Yeah, I think damage will be an essential on the next race, so we need to try and avoid this as much as possible. Obviously, as we are making a bit of a joke of it now, but it's very frustrating. I've been in this position many times, and it's really not fun when you get bumped off the circuit. As we see, I'm not too sure who that was actually. I think that was Renier, yes. So Renier actually getting out of shape and doing a 360, losing that 4th position. And again in the front, Farad and Adrian switching positions. Farad trying to get on the power, but the car understeering, and it goes very sideways. You see Renier coming back. Doing a dive bomb here. We haven't seen much of the battle at the front, but that is because Rick Guerrero is leading up by quite a margin. We will catch up with him now and go on board with him for a few laps as Farad closes right up. Still flashing his lights there, Farad, so it is a good tactic to distract the driver in front of you. It's very out of shape. He's pushing the limits here, and Farad down the inside. So good move from him. Unfortunately, Renier obviously turned the car a bit too hard, and the traction control kicked in a bit too much. Oh, and Farad goes off the track, handing that position back to Renier. So, like we say, it's very difficult. Let's see here. It looks like Matthew Waderley is going to regain that position that he lost earlier when Farad unfortunately bumped him off. So Matthew Waderley back ahead. As we see, the only M3 on the grid here, driven by Zahir. Down in 8th place. And we have Ron Adams here, unfortunately, in 9th position. So lap 7, just on to lap 8. It seems like, sorry, actually, my bad. Ron is actually 1 lap down, so we are actually going to go on to start lap 9. We still have Rick Guerrero leading Zante in combined racing. 14.4 seconds, some very consistent driving here, except for that lap there, which was 2 seconds down, so good job from Rick so far. Some consistent driving, being very aggressive there over the inside curve. We'll pick up back on this battle now, as you see this battle here from Farad and Matthew Wadley still still on the go. So it seems like Matthew is actually driving very consistently, and we'll have a look at his lap times now, but I'm sure they are very consistent because he seems to be keeping a steady pace, but just not making any mistakes, aside from the one that he was unfortunately forced into, as we see there, obviously on those lap 3 and lap 7. But aside from that, he has been doing very consistent lap times, so good job on him. He's in 6th position. Seems like he has changed his sponsor. These are not his usual colours that he's raced the last 2 races with. Rod's lights still flashing frantically there, it seems like. So maybe that might be a setting on his PlayStation, that his lights are constantly flashing. I don't think that's intentional. So once again, closing the back on Matthew, and this is allowing Zahir. Oh, and Farad spins, hits the grass. Unfortunate, but as I said, Matthew's keeping it going, doing his consistent lap times, and he's in 6th position, so great job from him. So here now 4.3 seconds back, so it seems like we can go back to the front of the race actually. Rick doing well. Battle for 2nd and 3rd position, so the gap is 13.7 seconds between Philip Meyer and Johnny. Does seem mistake. So great recovery from Johnny. He was all the way down in 8th, if I'm not mistaken, after being pushed off unfortunately by, I think, Rick it was, on lap 1. The left hairpin at the top of the hill. So unfortunate, but we just passed the halfway stage of this race. So undoubtedly plenty of action still to come. If we glance at the minimap, it does look like Zahir is closing down on Matthew Wading. So we'll wait a few more laps for that battle to hot up a bit, but we'll just stay on board with Johnny here, who's also new to sim racing. He actually bought a PS4 and Gran Turismo Sport not so long ago, so he has been putting in the hours of practice, and it's gotten him quite far. His best lap of the race is a 45.3, so it's a very fast lap time. And in terms of what the guys are using, I know Rick is using a steering wheel. I'm not too sure what Philip is using. I know Johnny is using a controller. Adrian in 4th is using a steering wheel. Renier is using a controller. I know that because he was telling me how difficult he's finding it at the moment. Matthew Wadley is also using a controller. Zahir, I'm not too sure of, and Farad is also using a controller. So most of the gentlemen in this crew are using a controller. Honestly, if you're new to the game, then a controller is definitely easier to use. Definitely easier to use. But Rick is pulling a sizable lead on 2nd place, now 24 seconds. I think Philip actually made a mistake because Johnny is now only 6.8 seconds behind him. So if Johnny puts in the consistent laps that he's doing, he's on average about 1 to 2 seconds faster than Philip every lap. So if he keeps that up, he will be able to catch up to the back end of Philip in the next 3 or 4 laps. So consistency is key, like always. It's very out of shape. I think he is driving with traction control. Very brave move considering he's using a controller. Let's just see if the red icon lights up there. I don't see it lighting up, so he's playing without traction control. So good job from him. I was doing some laps just now with the controller because I was in the lobby and my steering wheel wasn't connected, and I had to put the traction control on because otherwise it does become quite a nightmare to control the throttle. But it seems like that battle we were talking about between Zahir and Matthew Wadley, and as I say that Zahir does a 360, I think I need to definitely stop commentating, because every time I move to a battle something goes wrong. So maybe we might see Farad catching the back of Zahir. Yeah, let's have a look. We're going to with Farad. See Zahir up ahead. Keep in mind Zahir will now have dirt on his tyre, so we won't be surprised to see him go off again now if he does push too hard. But he will without a doubt be slower for the next 2 to 3 corners, which will probably allow Farad to close the gap. As you see him run very wide, like I said, he undoubtedly do so. The gap now to 1 second exactly. We know that it has to be within a second to have the benefit of that slipstream. Let's see it. And as we see, Zahir running very wide. So his tyres should most probably be back to normal by the next 1 or 2 corners, hopefully by the start of the next lap. But it looks like he's battling with severe understeer. Let's see, he's final corner now. They're getting a good exit there. 0.7 is the gap, so we should see that gap decreasing slowly because of the slipstream, as you can see. So now Farad will have to adjust his brake markers. Hopefully he does keep that in mind, because he just carries more speed than he would usually do. So he does that very well actually, and Zahir and they both actually run wide. Great drive there from Farad to when they almost come together actually. Farad squeezes him wide. See if Zahir goes around the outside, he chooses not to. And Farad almost on the grass again. Repeating a mistake he made earlier. So he ran very wide. It seems like Farad has got that position. So Farad up to 7. And the gap is now 5.4 seconds to second place. So this will most probably be the next battle to focus on if, like I say, they do put in those consistent laps. Good lap there from Philip, a 146.7 on the last lap, and a 145.6 from Johnny. So that 1 to 2 seconds, if we look a bit further down, we see that Philip was doing 47s and Johnny was doing 46s and 45s. So if things continue the way they are, they will without a doubt be a battle here. Most probably around the final lap. So we'll definitely be keeping tabs on this. But I think we should go on board with Rick for a little bit to take us through a lap here. So he is coming up. I say that, look on the mini map and see this battle looks like it's actually come to life again. So Rick will have to wait a bit to go on board with him. But it looks like Zahir has got back past Farad. Not too sure how that happened. Like I say, we always tend to miss the action here. But let's see how this goes. Towards lights flashing again. And again, it looks like we're going to have a repeat move of what happened earlier. So let's have a look here. Over Farad, see they don't make contact. Goes for dive bombs, and it gives him space, so good diving from him. Bump there. Almost. So here, most probably going to go on the inside here. Let's have a look at what happens. So here, chasing down Farad. Seems like he's pulling that gap now as he gets on the grass, which is very risky. That's allowed Zahir to catch up again as he goes wide. See if we can go on board at the end. We see a different interior for a change here. The BM obviously having the Northlight 24-hour layout on the left hand side of the door. Kind of pointless for a coupleless, but nevertheless. You see the BM understeering quite a lot this afternoon. One. It's very sort of jerky, if you will call it that, because of the controller. It's very difficult to be smooth on a controller. So lap 14, it seems like, if I'm not mistaken, the gap has closed down here for second place. But while that gap is still closing, let's go on board with Rick. So Rick is playing on traction control. The gap now 29.3 seconds, so great job from Rick. He's done very consistent laps. If you do look, take a glance to the right hand side, his lap times have been extremely consistent, except for that 8th lap where he obviously made a mistake, but no driver is perfect. That goes for every single racing driver. But it will be interesting to see what happens now as Rick closes up on Zahir and Farad. So let's see. Hopefully they do adhere to the blue flags and get out of the way. You see there's the blue light there on the side of the track. And, no doubt if we go on board, we'll see at the top of the screen it says give way to faster cars. Obviously Zahir is about to get lapped, so let's see if we can follow from him and watch from the rear view camera and see if we can see exactly where Rick catches him up. So let's have a look. So Zahir runs wide, avoids the grass at least, and he's getting very squirmy there. So on the brakes, very good brake marker there from Rick. Running very wide. So obviously at this point in the race, Rick does not need to take any risks as he has more than a 30-second lead. So let's just wait for Rick to get this move completed, and then we will move to that battle for second place. If you look on the mini-map, you'll see that the two arrows are getting very close to each other. So let's just wait on board to make sure that nothing happens to our race leader. So here, but it's very late. Closes right up on him. If you look back to the front, you see Farad there still. Focusing on that moment. And Zahir running off track. Lucky not to do a 360 there as Rick catches Zahir in probably the worst sector of the track to overtake. So hopefully Rick takes his time and doesn't go for anything that will lose him valuable time. Back on board with Rick and see how he deals with the situation, as things seem to be getting out of control, as this is now Farad, I believe. So he has made his way past Rick, putting a lot of pressure on Farad. Hopefully Farad does move out of his way, as obviously he's not racing. Farad might be going defensive, or he might be moving out of the way, one of the two. But let's see, things will without a doubt get interesting here, so let's see what happens here as Rick breaks. Oh no, they follow each other off the circuit. So the race leader, oh, they're all three on. Oh, so this is giving Philip Mayer, let's have a look at these gents here. They are quite far behind, but Rick's still trying to get back on the circuit. So all three of the drivers actually going off the circuit there. Rick definitely lost valuable time. It's not anywhere near enough, thank goodness for him. So let us focus on the battle for second now. We'll go on board with Johnny as he chases down Philip. So second last lap, or 1.1 seconds is the gap. We know that within 1 second is where you need to be, especially for the benefit of the spectator. So Johnny puts in the fastest first sector of the race as he closes right up to Philip. So Johnny needs to start thinking about where he's going to make this move. because he does not have the benefit of time. As Philip runs wide, maybe the pressure's getting to him a little bit. Johnny taking a nice tight line to get a good exit here. Right on the back end of Philip. Philip might be going defensive. No. Johnny goes for the move. Does he make it stick? No, he runs wide and Philip gets him back. So good driving there from Philip. Obviously, if you do stay wide on the outside and keep your brake marker as normal, it's almost impossible for the guy on the inside to pass you. Obviously, you'll have to brake later than you and he will end up going straight. So let's have a look. I do see up ahead on the mini-map, Rick has caught back up to Farad and Xavier. So I see them all bunched up. Hopefully we don't have a repeat. Let's actually move to that quickly. Let's see what happens here. So we'll watch from this camera view to see what happens. Let's see what happens with these guys. Oh, and contact again, so let's see. The car's getting squirmy again. Back with Johnny again. So it's the final lap within a second, but obviously Philip has moved clear of the slipstream. So have a look. Oh, and Philip making a big mistake. This is probably Johnny's best chance now, possibly to send a move down the inside if he can get a little bit closer. No, definitely not. So sensible driving here from Johnny. He's taking his time, but he is unfortunately running out of time. So we need to be making that move soon. Let's see maybe here. Philip runs very wide, Johnny giving him a little bit of a nudge, so nothing wrong with that. All part of racing. As Johnny maybe getting a little bit impatient, pushing the limits, making this M6 understeer quite heavily. And let's see if Johnny might go for a move again as Philip goes defensive this time. Johnny braking on his marker. Philip might have left that a bit too late, leaves the door open. Unfortunately, a bit of contact, but nothing wrong. It looks like Philip and Johnny coming together. But good move there from Johnny. Philip did run a bit wide and try to come back and close the line. Unfortunately, not to his success. So Johnny just needs to keep this together. But we'll go on board now with Rick as he is making his way to the start-finish. He's still trying to get past Farad. So obviously, these drivers ignoring the blue flags, which is not ideal. So we'll have to have a word with him. But well done to Rick. As we finish here, Johnny looks like he is in second and he will be finishing in second for the last corner mistakes. So a great recovery there from Johnny to come from 8th to second. Very good drive from him, putting in those laps and catching Philip. At the end, well done to Philip, who comes across in third. And Adrian, who had a few incidents in this race, coming through in fourth position. Obviously, like we said, maybe from the next race we will implement damage to avoid, hopefully avoid any unnecessary contact, because I can promise you that there is nothing worse than nudging a guy a little bit and then getting engine damage, and instead of doing 230 down the straight, your car's doing 200 and everybody's going past you. So I promise you that's not what you want to happen. So well done to Adrian in fourth, as we watch Renier come over the line in fifth position for fast development. Great job from him. As we mentioned, he's playing on a controller, so well done to him. Great drive from him. Matthew Wadley a bit further back. As he unfortunately hits the grass, but he is in the last sector, so like we said, not his usual sponsor on board here. I'm not going to mention who his sponsor was for the last race, as it is not appropriate for my stream, but anyway, if you do want, you can go back to the previous streams and look. But well done to everyone. It seems like we came 9th, even though we didn't start the race. Obviously all the other guys DNFing, but well done to Rick from Combined Racing.